All right, everyone. Welcome back to Deep Naked Thoughts. I am your host, Val, and with me today I have Angel. Now, we tried to make this episode happen before, but the tech was just not with me that day. So, Angel, thank you for coming back. Thank you for your patience. Angel, thank you so much for your service. Angel is serving our military forces, so we just want to say thank you for that. Angel, how would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, my name's Angel and I'm like a jack of all trades. So in the past I was a monk. I'm also a dancer, community builder. I'm also active duty in the military as well and I like to do videography.
I love that. We definitely need to, we're gonna go back into the past, everyone. So we're gonna take you to childhood and then we're gonna fast forward to the present and just how all of that mix is kind of coming together into the things that Angel is doing now. But all right, Angel. So let's start. So one of the reasons why I wanted to interview Angel is because his experience as a monk. And this is kind of interesting, but I always wanted to go to like a monastery or just also live as a monk. I don't know. I watched a lot of Avatar. Have you watched Avatar: The Last Airbender?
I have.
Yeah, did that inspire you at all? Like, were you like, I need to go be like Aang? Did that inspire you?
I feel like it never really pushed my mind because my grandma was always like, when you get older, you have to be a monk at least once. So it's like,
Hmm.
it's kind of
So,
instilled.
like, yeah. So take us through that journey. First, let's go into childhood. Like, let us know, like, where did you grow up? First and foremost, where did you grow up that kind of inspired that kind of monk like culture? Because one of the last things that you and I talked about was that monks are different depending like where they're from. So how were you even like exposed to this culture?
So when growing up, I grew up in the outskirts of Atlanta, so it's like Metro Atlanta. They call it like Marietta,
Mm.
Kennesaw. So it's like it's not really Atlanta, but
Mm-hmm.
just like everyone, like from other states. So where you from? You're not gonna say Marietta, Kennesaw. You just say the nearest major city, which is Atlanta. So there wasn't a big Asian population, but since my grandma she came from Thailand, and then my dad's side is more Lao, so it's like Lao and Thai mixed together.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, I got exposed into it at a very early age because my parents, not my parents, but my grandparents, are very traditional, and I didn't realize
Mm-hmm.
what they were doing. I thought it was normal. Growing up Buddhism, I was like, okay, and everyone thinks it's all monks and stuff, which is it makes sense because I took the classes in high school, middle school. They were
Mm-hmm.
teaching us like what is Buddhism, but then I realized, this is different. And then as I got older, I started to really dive into my culture, and I realized that oh dang, I'm brought up so Southeast Asian Buddhism is like different than like Shinto Buddhism, and it's different than the Buddhism that's in Tibet and stuff, but they share
Mm-hmm.
very similar cores. But I got introduced from it because my grandma always instilled all the philosophies and everything. Like when you do this, this happens. It's like karma.
Okay. So I do want to talk about karma. I want to know more about that. But where did you actually practice like monkhood? Like, do you have to leave the country and travel outside of the US to become a monk? Or was your is that even the right word? Like monastery? Is that where was it here in the US? Or like what was that like?
So it's crazy. So apparently we do research. So we call them Watt. So like WAT. You can search them in any
Uh-huh.
state. A couple of states has more Watts than others, but they say it's ideal that you become a monk in the motherland, which is Thailand and Laos. But
Okay.
I didn't get to do that because it was too expensive. I was also going to school too. And, they couldn't really risk me being gone from school in 2 months.
Mm.
So I didn't realize that you could do it in the US. They say it's not a common practice because the newer generation, like my generation up, they say not a lot of people does this anymore compared to the generation under us. My parents are debating where should we do it at. And
Mm-hmm.
ironically, Louisiana, especially New Liberia, Louisiana, they have
Hmm.
I guess they have a Lao community over there. And there was a couple of monks that came from Laos at that time that migrated
Mm-hmm.
into like just to practice Buddhism to teach amongst the fellow Lao community. And they
Mm-hmm.
asked, so we could do the tradition because I think not every temple does it, or I can't speak for all the temples, but yeah, but I did it in New Liberia, Louisiana. That's when I started my whole monk journey.
Okay, wow, that is very interesting. Okay, so you start this monk journey. Walk us through a day in the life of a monk. Like, what do you wake up and meditate? Do you wake up and clean? Do you wake up and do martial arts? Like, what do you do? What do you do? Give us a day in the life of a monk.
So it's crazy because I thought I was gonna do martial arts too. I was like, yo, am I gonna learn Muay Thai or do all that cool stuff?
Uh-huh.
I was
Yeah.
wrong. But we do wake up at like 4 a.m. in the morning,
Mhm.
and that usually starts the first prayer. So we pray about, let's say, approximately 3 times a day. So they call it like the morning prayer. So like before the sun goes up.
Mhm.
It has to be before the sun goes up. I can't really
Mhm.
translate why, but it's something like it's like blessings for like the day to come by. So
Hmm.
you pray from 4 a.m. all the way up to 6, depending on, daylight saving and stuff, but like before the sun
Mhm.
goes up. And we're still not allowed to eat. We only could drink water, we could drink soda, we could drink drinks, but we cannot like snack on things. We're only allowed to eat at 12 or like
Mhm.
11 to 12, basically in the
Mhm.
afternoon. It was
Mhm.
like I guess you can call it like fasting, and it was different for me because I was like, dang, I can't eat, so I'm not used to like waking up and just not eating. Usually I just munch on some noodles or some cereal, But
Mhm.
it starts with a morning prayer, and then after that, you could either continue to take a nap. That's what some monks do, or some monks they bring out their notebook and they continue reading, or they walk around the temple.
Mhm.
And usually when there's a task to be done, it's just like keep the temples clean, because if you go to a temple most of the time,
Mhm.
it's pretty clean to me. So we always clean the temple. So it's like doing your normal daily tasks. You keep your environment clean, you keep your area clean, so it keeps your mind clean.
Oh wow. That's actually really interesting that you say that it keeps your mind clean because there is research to say that like clutter can also affect your mental health because then you can't focus, you're looking for things, you're distracted. And like actual somebody's physical environment can actually tell a lot about their mental state. Like if you think about like people that I don't know that are OCD, like they're always cleaning, they always have to be like under control, like or have something to control, or like even people that are hoarders and they can't let go of things, like they have it's fit like they you can literally see it. They have a hard time and emotional, what would you say, like attachment to things and they can't throw anything away. But also like yeah, it affects their daily living. So I think that's super interesting. So my degree's in psychology and so I find a lot of this stuff super fascinating because it's just like they're doing it. It's different principles, but it's still psychology. Even when you were talking about the morning prayer, I think about like a lot of people that have like a morning routine. It's like I go and I run and I clear my mind, or I wake up and I journal, or I wake up and fill in the blank. Usually, people that have like morning routines or some sort of structure tend to be more effective or tend to, I don't want to like misquote studies, but they tend to be more successful throughout their day because they planned ahead, or they're not letting little things get in their way or crying over like spilled milk, like things like that. Like they're more resilient because they have that practice. So, okay, misconceptions that I might have as a monk. Are all monks vegetarian? Do you guys follow a vegetarian diet, or like what do monks eat?
So it's crazy to say. So they're not all vegetarians. However,
Okay.
it is ideal to be vegetarian because they gave us like a whole bunch of principles and rules. But since
Mhm.
so we went by tiers. So I was like dang, how did it go? It was something with like Jua, that's like the lower monks, and then it goes up
Mhm.
as Achans, and those are like the higher monks. So
Mhm.
those are usually the monks that are a lot more older, they're a lot more wiser. The Juas are like I guess you can call us like the young, reckless ones. So the stereotype
Mhm.
is that every monk is pure. Oh, not exactly, because in our culture, when you do become a monk, you see it as like a reincarnation cycle where like you're restarting your life. So some monks that I did became monks with, they were like, so as a kid, I used to, do bad things. I used to get into a lot of fights. And some monks
Mhm.
that I met that came from Laos, he got into a lot of fights. Oh, he was a bad kid. He was like they call him the naughty kid. He always
Mhm.
horseplay. He always like run around, like very messy guy. But they made him become a monk
Mhm.
to teach him discipline.
Hmm.
So
That's
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
Oh
No,
no.
that's like super interesting because and again, this goes back to psychology, but it's like whatever you identify, it's basically the story you're telling your brain. So, for example, if you say like, "Oh, well, I'm a recovering alcoholic," or "I'm sober," you're still attaching with the label of like, "I used to be a drug addict," or "I used to drink," or like, "I used to." versus saying like I don't smoke or like I don't drink. Then you're just detaching yourself from like I don't do that versus like I used to do that or I have a problem with that or I've been sober 3 months or 4 months. So it's like basically the narrative that you tell yourself, because on one end, it's like that's something I used to do and I fight not to do it over and over. The other one, you're completely detaching yourself and be like, no, I don't do that. I don't engage in that. I don't behave like that. And so it's like not attaching yourself to the label. Or if you maybe have patterns that are anxious, you can say like, yeah, sometimes I get anxious versus I have anxiety. Because if you say I have anxiety, then it's like, okay, well, you have it. Like it's yours, I guess, or like, oh, I'm depressed. It's like you may suffer from depression, but when you say I'm depressed, it's like it's mine. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like that's really interesting of like kind of like a rebirth of like that's an old part of me or like a different version of me, but it's not me now. Like you don't associate with that label. So I just think that's really interesting. On the subject of rebirth, do you believe we have multiple lives? I'll go first. I think we do. I think in a past life I was a monk. I think in a past life I don't know. I feel like I don't know why I like fighting, but it's just so much fun for me. Yeah, I do. I grew up doing martial arts. So Angel knows my friend Angela. We both grew up doing martial arts, but I loved it. And I'm like, in a different life, dude, this is all I did because it's so much fun. I like, yeah, not even because I don't like people. I'm like, I just think this is great. So do you think we have past lives?
So it's crazy to say because so this actually ties into like what I've learned as a monk. So they
Oh,
call it like a so yes, I do believe that we do have past lives, and I do also believe in like like parallel versions of us
oh,
that has
yeah.
existed in the past too. Pretty much we were told that whatever we do in this life, it could carry
Mm-hmm.
on to the next life. So if your past life was a horrible person, you could come back in a I guess say like they call it like you could come back as a fly to be punished
Mm,
because you were a bad person in the
yeah.
past. So in
Mm-hmm.
our religion, at least I can't translate it correctly, but they say there's 12 gates.
Mm,
So there's 12 gates in the afterlife. So
mm,
you're gonna reincarnate as much time as you can. Or I was told there might be a limit, but don't quote me on that because I don't know for sure. But some people believe there is a limit. Like we only get
mm,
9 lives, and you keep reincarnating until you hit Nirvana. Nirvana is being the highest gate, and then the
mm,
lowest gate being like like hell or something. The middle gate would be like
mm,
they call it Earth. So
mm,
like here. So you're gonna keep
mm.
reincarnating until you hit Nirvana.
Wow, that is really, really cool. I don't know. I used to meditate a lot. I used to be like an somebody that would avidly meditate, and I started meditating when I was a kid. Also, like, it was really weird the way that we would meditate because, again, Angela and I, we did martial arts. And so they would just say, close your eyes and meditate. And a lot of the meditation training that we did was visualization. So visualize getting the kick right or visualize kicking higher. So it was a lot of like yourself doing something, which I think is really good because it's really good training for your brain. A lot of athletes do that. There's a lot of research to support that it helps. So I love that. However, I know that there's different types of meditation. There's breathwork meditation and I don't know, there's just like a super sense of like relaxation. And I feel like there's been times where I've meditated for like an hour and it'll feel like 5 minutes. And I'm like, I don't know where I like I don't know, like 5 minutes. I'm like, what happened? And I think it's funny, but it's not because I'm like, I needed that time, but I don't know. I'm like, I don't know where I went, but it's just like such a deep feeling of being so in my mind and in my brain. I don't know if you can speak about meditation or like the training that you received on meditation or what it's done or what you know about meditation.
I remember one of the monks, like one of the Joes, they did ask, like, so when you meditate, what do you think about? They're like, well, honestly, everything depends on the person, but
Mm,
ideally, you meditate with a clear mind. So it's like, I always use this as a reference, like, if you watch Demon Slayer, Tanjiro has like a very clear, like, open water mind, you can say. It's like, when I meditate, that's what I think about. Like, basically,
mm,
like, the very calm flow of water, because I realize that the way we move in life also connects with the way nature moves as well. And
oh,
I feel like when you hear the wind, it's like hearing yourself brush with the wind as well. So it's like you
mm,
moving towards life. And then when you
mm-hmm,
die, you kind of like go towards the ground and then, you become one of nature, you can say.
mm-hmm. Wow, that's like really deep. That's my grandmother was Native American, and so she had interesting beliefs about just life. But like, even if you're Catholic, because I also grew up Catholic, and it's like we from dust we come, to dust we will return, and that feeling of like we are one with nature and we are interconnected. Did monkhood change the way you view the world? Do you feel like you're more connected to people, or do you feel like you're less connected, or both? Because the reason why I asked this is because as somebody that has studied psychology, I feel like I have a really good understanding of people, but also because of just modern age, I feel like we're more disconnected as a society. A lot of our friends are online, but we don't actually hang out with them, or a lot of, I don't even know how to explain. Instead of meeting people in like a cafe or accidentally bumping into them or going to an event, a lot of the people we meet are virtual online, and sometimes we don't ever meet them face to face. We just have like a virtual connection to them. Or I don't know, how do you feel? Do you feel like this experience has made you more connected to people and life?
So it's crazy to say that because I'm not gonna lie, after completing the whole like 2 weeks of being a monk, it's like, oh, I feel like a brand new person. But sometimes your old habits starts to kick back in and everything. So it's
Mm,
like, but I did bring all out like what I've learned in the past as well. Like basically like during the monk, it's like be more selfless, understand people more, be patient, and like
mhm,
see people for who they are, but you also seek for the best, but also you don't hope, because at the end of the day though, every person is themselves. Like just because they do good now don't mean they're gonna continue doing good. It's all on the person. So it's like some
mm,
people have the tendency to revert back. With the monkhood, they told us that it's just like everyone's different. Some people's lives determines on how they think. So it's like if they really want to change, they will change. And if they
oh,
don't, then they could revert back. And I
mhm,
feel like this all plays in roles of like, because I talked about it with the monk. My dad even asked a question too. It's like, so how about the people that grown up in like certain environments that doesn't support them and things like, and then he told me that this is where society gets a little bit more complex, because becoming a monk, especially since he came from Thailand to the US, he
mhm,
realized that society nowadays is different. So we have to adapt this. So some things that is on the scriptures no longer match with what fits into society standards. So it's like, should we adapt with it or
mhm,
still maintain the same mind? So as I got older, I started to realize maybe the whole point of like becoming a monk isn't to follow the entire scriptures to the dot, because being a
mhm,
monk made me realize that what if becoming a monk makes you realize perspectives? If you believe this is genuinely right, then it is right. Of course, there's some things that's like, oh, this is bad. But like
mhm,
the main principles, like as long as you understand the main core principle of like this is to be a good person. The biggest ones are like treat like your elders with respect. Of course, if they treat you with disrespect, disregard it, because you got to be selfless too. So it's like some people genuinely can't change, but you
mhm,
yourself can change, and that's what makes you a better person. And then
mhm,
I started to carry that on over the years. Like, in order to become that better person, I got to become a better person. If I no longer like this environment, I'll change my environment. Doesn't mean by changing cities, changing jobs. It could be like changing yourself mentally. Like, I start working out more. I start doing different hobbies, like, like going to hiking, go
mhm.
to the nearest trail, start running marathons, and like meet new people.
Wow, okay. I really, really like that. I do want to talk about karma, and I want to talk about, because again, my background is in psychology, but we use a lot of terms like boundaries and fill in the blank. But is that something that you learn about as a monk? And the reason why I ask is because I do try to lead with a lot of empathy. I try to be a good person. I think I am a good person, but I try to be extremely respectful. I help when I can. But there are times, and I'll give you a particular example. I feel like sometimes helping people means not helping people. And you're going to be like, what are you talking about? So I'll give you an example. I have a friend, and they would always come to me for help, and they would only come to me when they needed help, whether it was like money or resources, or like sometimes they just needed to vent. And I feel like I got to the point where I was like, I have a lot of respect for you. I care about you, but I think it is in your best interest and my best interest if I don't help you. Because if I help you, then I'm just enabling this behavior. Like I'm just kind of being complicit. Like I am making you lazy. I am making you, like, I'm doing this for you. Like you need to learn how to do this for yourself. It is actually me helping you by not helping you because you got to learn how to do this yourself. So, can you like talk to us about karma and what karma says or I don't know. Yeah, explain karma to us.
So karma gets a little complicated, you can say. But all I know is when I grew up was that my grandma has told me, you do good things will come to you. Do bad things will come to you. However, karma also doesn't work in that favor because
Mm.
sometimes you could do the best thing ever and all of a sudden bad things happen to you. But
Mhm.
I realized that karma, like it wasn't until like last year or so, that's when it hit me a little. Like just because you do good, you should not expect good. That's where karma will
Mm.
come back and be like, hey, yo, I'm gonna make you the worst day of your life because now you expect to do, you know what I mean? Like you're doing good
Mm. Yeah.
because you're told to do good, but you want to do good because you want to do good. Like they call it like the monks say, do it from the heart. Don't do it with the
Mhm.
brain. Don't do it with the intention to be good. You do
Mhm.
it because you genuinely want to do it. And I was like, oh wait, maybe this is what life is about. Where like what you feel is right. So in your case, like with your friend, you believe that that's right. Like you let your friend like go a little bit so they can decide, you know what I mean, so they can
Mhm.
help themselves out. Because I feel like the whole point of like karma is that you still have to learn for yourself. And some people they get it, some people they don't. But you can't always
Mhm.
baby people along the way.
Mhm.
So the whole point of it is that you look within yourself, and by giving them space, it gives them time to look within. My greatest example is my brother. He used to
Mm.
leech off of me. I wouldn't say bad leech, like with money and stuff. It's like
Mhm.
he always saw me as like a figurehead. So like so it's like, hey, Angel, let's go here, but I have to
Mhm.
drive. Or Angel, let's go do this community event, but I have to drive or run majority of the show. Which is like,
Mhm.
oh, it could get tedious because like I didn't ask to do it, but at the same time too, I genuinely want to do it from the bottom of my heart. But at the same time too, I want my brother to grow too. And in order for him to
Mhm.
grow, like I had to step back as an older brother, watch him grow. So I decided,
Mhm.
hey yo, bro, I'm gonna move across the country because I need to find myself again. Because I feel like I help too many people that I
Mhm.
haven't been helping myself. And the monks
Mm.
has always say, start with yourself first before you can help others. Because you can
Mhm.
always reach out to help others, then you're gonna have that mindset where like you expect return. Like you expect people to do good things or good things to come to you, but life doesn't work that way. I feel like when
Mhm.
you force life to give you good things because you do good things, then life's gonna do the
Mhm.
opposite. And I feel like that's what
Mm.
karma kind of teaches.
Okay. There's this quote, and I think it sounds similar to what you're saying, and it's from love, not for love. Like whenever you do things, do it because you love to give, or you love to help people, or you love to fill in the blank, because you love to do that. Versus I'm doing it because I want them to like me. I want to get money. I want to fill in the blank. Like one is for like because it's coming from you, and the other one is like I want something in return, or like maybe what people think about karma, like, I'm gonna do good because I want to get good things. And that's kinda how you're saying, it's like, well, you might not get good things because 'cause you're expecting it. So, no, that's, really, really cool that you said that. So, what mindsets do you still or what mindset do you still carry from being a monk? Do you still meditate? Do you still wake up and clean? Like, what habits or what things carry still in your life from that experience?
So the biggest thing that has really carried with me, especially becoming a monk, was learning how to adapt. Because I feel like
Mm.
becoming a monk, you have to adapt to your surrounding, adapt without knowing like what's the next biggest thing. Because they made us like not use a phone a lot.
Mm.
Like service is so bad in the area that you weren't gonna be able to use the phone anyways, and they advise you to think more pure thoughts because if um if you're a monk and you just continue to think like bad thoughts and stuff, like they call it like a waste of time. Like, you're basically not really learning to be a monk because your head is not in the right mindset. You're just there to
Mhm.
kind of because when you become a monk, you have to do it from the bottom of your heart. So as of recently, like 3 years ago, when I hit the lowest point of my life, that's
Mhm.
when I started like, why am I going against the waves of life? Because in the
Mhm.
monkhood, you learn to go besides going against. I guess you can say, think of it like this: a current of waves is coming at you, so you're
Mhm.
trying to go against it. I need to get above the wave. I need to go through. but
Mhm.
then I feel like it makes life harder because it makes you more stressed and everything. So it's
Mhm.
like, why don't I start going with the waves? So besides
Mhm.
going against it, I decided like let the waves take me wherever it goes by just
Mm.
generally doing what I normally do, or not even what I normally do. So it's like if I feel like I want to eat pho right after this podcast, and I'll probably
Mm.
eat pho right after this podcast.
Yeah. No, that's a really cool mindset of like actually I really, really, really like that mindset because growing up I was told I was very stubborn. And I think that's really good and really bad because stubborn is like it's my way or the highway or like I'm gonna make it happen. And I think people should have that drive. However, I think sometimes just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. So like the only example that I have, and I'm proud that I accomplished this, but I got my master's and it was like the hardest degree that I got because I didn't want to do it. It was like working against a wave, kind of, where I was like, I hate this. I'm drowning. I don't want to do this. I'm paying money for this. Like, I'm paying money. And I'm like, I hate this. And I hate this. I have student loans, team. Like and
Mhm.
subscribe, okay? Just kidding, because I got student loans. But I'm like, I hate this. I hate that I'm doing this. And I did it and I got my degree. And I'm just like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. I didn't need to do that. And I could have gone with the waves and I could have done something else. I could have gone on a journey. I could have gotten, I don't know, gotten a new job or met a different mentor. I could have done something different, but maybe I needed to learn that lesson of like, you don't need to be stubborn and just, you can do it, but that doesn't mean that you should. You should sometimes just go with the flow. And like, if your heart's not in it, you should put where your heart is. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Like,
it
do the
does.
thing. So I'm like, I had to learn that the hard way. And I think everything is a lesson. Like, I had to learn that the hard way. So now I'm like, there's things I don't need to do, and that's okay. Okay, so tell us about the Air Force. So, like, you said you hit like a low point and you went through this training, and I feel like you've learned a lot. What happened that you were like, I want to join the Air Force? Like, how did that happen?
So I'm not gonna lie, I've always wanted to join the military growing up. However, like my parents and them saw it like, dang, we escaped the Vietnam War to come to
Oh.
America. So now you're jumping back into the war. So
Mm.
the question was why and how. So I was at 18, 19, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have joined a whole different branch. Something told me that if I joined the Air Force, my body would thank me later. I
Mm.
talked to like an older Marine. He retired already, and my other friend who's in the Army. All different branches. I had to like talk to them. They said this honestly. If I was to go back, I don't regret anything, but I would advise joining the Air Force because life would be
Mm.
easier. So I was like, would it?
Mhm.
Military, is military, but dang. So I decided
Mhm.
like maybe I should start taking advice because sometimes like I go against my advice sometimes.
Mhm.
So joining the Air Force was a little bit complicated in a way because it kind of goes against my religion because it's like
Mm.
so it's like when they think of one of the most complex things that the monk told me is that when you work for anything that involves killing, then it's bad, it's a sin. So I was like, dang. So what do we do? He's like, well, you could become a doctor or you could become a monk or you know what I mean, do things that are less harmful to people. But then
Mhm.
as I was doing research, when you tie everything together, it's like one way or another, we're hurting someone. So, like, you work in the food industry, you're killing animals unintentionally, or you're working
Yeah.
in this area, you're kind of like harming another group. You know what I mean? So it's like
Mhm.
I realized that one wise older monk told me that if you think about it, in life, we're all gonna be sinners already. It's just how you live your life. So he told me that if you believe this is the right thing to do, then you should do it. If not, then don't do it. Because it's like becoming a monk. You gotta want to
Mhm.
do it. You gotta do it from
Yeah.
the bottom of your heart. So if you do it against your
Mhm.
heart, then you're already in the wrong. So
Yeah.
I had to do a research and I was like, wait a minute, there were monk warriors, like you mentioned earlier in the podcast. I was like,
Mhm.
there were genuinely like monks who actually like learned to protect the temple. And I was like, wait, maybe this might be it. Like maybe my past self or something like basically you could be a monk and you could be in the military or slash a warrior at the same time because some monks who had became military, there's a thing where in you gotta be able to protect your temple. Because sometimes our temples, especially in Southeast Asia, they would get attacked in the past. So it's like, but how do you protect a temple that's gonna always get attacked? So you gotta create warriors who can protect your temple. And when I think of the temple, it's not only just the actual physical temple. We're talking about like your personal peace, your personal well-being. And I feel like that all becomes in the mindset.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I think I really like that. I think also like your temple being even like your homeland or where you live now. So again, thank you for your service. I think also one thing that really stood out to me that you said is like you got to go where you feel called. And I'm trying to live that now. Like for example, even with the podcast, it's like, well, like I don't care if it blows up. I don't care if it doesn't. Like I'm doing it because I genuinely want to have conversations with people I find interesting. I want to do it because it's going to connect more people. Like more people are going to get to hear your story or other people's stories. And so there was something about it where I was like, I really don't know where this is going to go or where this is going to lead, but I know I want to do this. So I really admire that, and I am trying to lead with love in all areas of my life and doing the things that I feel called to do. So I really like that. Also, I think that maybe like a lot of people will benefit because you're there. Like you bring a positive mindset or like you bring a different perspective or maybe they need you there. Like so I feel like that's really interesting. Do you share with like maybe friends or coworkers? Like do they come to you and like do you tell them about meditation or do you try to share the things that you've learned with people?
So I usually don't go out on my way to help others
Okay.
unless they ask. However, when there are times that I see another coworker or colleague
Mhm.
supposed to be down, I would genuinely ask like, "Hey, what's wrong?" And then coincidentally, they just open up because I feel like your voice matters and listening to people also matters. A lot of people that join the military, we always get this stigma where like they did it for this or did it for that. But on the real though, it's like becoming a monk. Some people became a monk generally because they had no other way, and this was sadly the only other way. So it's like I need to get
Mhm.
out of debt. I want to help my parents retire. Like they're just
Mhm.
normal people, but because something pushed them off the edge, they had to like kind of push yourself into this. And
Mhm.
I feel like with a lot of people, they just need that extra guidance to like, am I doing the right thing? And it's like I feel like
Mhm.
as we question ourselves all the time, we could question ourselves the entire contract, or we could
Mhm.
kind of like figure out now where, put yourself in the right mindset. Cause I call it like you set yourself up for a comeback. So it's like making a comeback for your life. So
Yeah.
besides always being negative, because, I feel like you could set yourself down, but by setting yourself up, you're building yourself not just mentally and physically, but also spiritually.
Yeah. Wow. That is really cool. I hadn't thought about it that way. Okay. So we've talked a lot about your background, definitely a lot about your mindset and where your mindset comes from and the things that you have learned and how you apply it. Again, extremely beautiful. Let's talk about the things that you are doing that are fun. I do think the military is fun, but let's talk about that video creation, videography. Let's talk about dance, videography. Like, what kind of content did you make? And I think there was one more. Dance, like love and passion for dance. Like, how did these interests, side quests, I don't know, experiences, like, where did this happen? How did this happen?
So growing up, my parents never really wanted to pay for any of my stuff. So like I wanted to play soccer. I wanted to do
Okay.
jujitsu. I wanted to learn Muay Thai. But they're like, oh, it's
Mhm.
too expensive. I was like, but it's
Mhm.
only like $100, $200. Maybe at that time, I'm not gonna lie, like, man, it was probably
Yeah.
expensive. But I had no way to really like play sports because my parents couldn't really afford it. So I had no other options to do anything. So I was like, wait, I guess, I feel like I was a kid who, because I was super quiet, super
Mhm.
antisocial. I didn't really have a lot of friends. So the few friends I
Mhm.
did make, I cherish them a lot. So, but I also didn't have a lot of like outlooks in life other than just like, because it's always like you go outside, but you have to be back by sundown. You have to study
Mhm.
before you go to bed. You have to get, you have to pass, get all A's.
Mhm.
So it's like that stereotypical Asian where he's kind of sheltered, forced to be sheltered as well. But
Mhm.
also he sucks to socialize. So I couldn't really socialize because I didn't know how to. I didn't go out a lot either.
Mhm.
So I realized that I started doing a couple of handstands because I saw it like because my cousins were dancing in the garage. So, oh, what's this? I was like, I'm like mimic it too. And then my other
Mhm.
cousin, he saw me post a picture back on MySpace of me doing a one
Mm.
handstand. And he's like,
Mhm.
you breakdance? I was like, what's that? He's like, well, dang, I could show you the way. So pretty much, this is breakdancing. And pretty much, he just told me like, you gotta learn your basics, like 6-step, 2-step, and all that other cool stuff. I was like, cool, cool, cool. And then all of a sudden, like, I didn't really have a lot of like resources to really learn how to breakdance because it was just, well, breaking, that's the real term, but yeah. But I didn't
Mm.
have a lot of resources to really learn how to break. It's just like, I guess you say the best OGs has mentioned like sometimes the best resources are like basically what you get from life. So it's like martial arts. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna be like Jackie Chan, but in
Mhm.
the breaking world or something like that. Because
Mhm.
my inspiration is like, oh, he did a little cool little windmill kick. And I guess
Mhm.
somehow that little windmill kick that I started learning was like, oh, it actually became actual windmill. As the internet got into a better wave, they started having more tutorials. And then that's
Mhm.
when I started, using those tutorials to utilize my skills. And then I think like breaking especially is just like, it helped me express myself because I couldn't express myself through sports and I didn't have no other
Mhm.
outlets. And before like breaking, I was like, I like to write. And then even before that, I also did like to record videos. So I call it as like I guess you could say it kind of all collided with each other when I realized that, oh, you could blend them together. So when I dance nowadays, I call it as like I'm writing poetry on the dance floor. Like when I do videos and stuff too, I want to be able to like make people feel the video as well too. So I feel like I guess over time I just got better and then I got to slowly start to socialize with people who dances too. And I was like, oh, I got to meet a little mini community of friends who
Yeah.
are also socially awkward that likes anime too.
Mhm.
And then
That's funny.
it just continued building up and up. And then all of a sudden I became a community leader in like
Mm.
some scenes. They see me as cause I started hosting workshops and then that's when, so I feel like as I got more competitive in the breaking scene, I learned
Mhm.
in my head was like, one of the OGs mentioned it too. Sometimes the best thing you can do to support your community is to go out, go compete, go learn from other communities and bring that same knowledge back to your community. And that's when you watch your
Mm.
community grow. So it's like, watering a plant.
Wow. No, I love that. I love that metaphor. You said so many beautiful things. Well, okay, I need to figure out where to start. So I'm also a dancer. I'm a Latin dancer, but there's this quote and it's like, where there's music, there will be dancers. And it's just like it's true. And so I love that quote because yeah, like when where there's music, like you'll find people dancing. And then there was this quote, like I told my dance teacher this, and I was like, well, I don't want to go dance alone. Like he was like, I want you this weekend, I want you to go out to like whatever dance club, like whether it's country dancing or Latin bar, whatever. He's like, I want you to go and I want you to go dance. And I was like, well, I don't want to go alone. And he's like, you won't go alone because the people that want to dance will already be there. And I was like, okay. He's like, you're going to find someone to dance with. You just have to go. And I was like, okay. And it's true. Like as soon as I showed up, everybody wanted to dance. And like you just take turns, like, hey, do you want to go dance? And then you rest, and you're like, oh, I like this song. You want to go out and like hit the dance floor? So it reminded me of that. And it's like it's true. It's like when you put yourself out there, like the people will come. So no, that's beautiful. The other metaphor I really liked was the one about the plant, like watering a plant. That's the way I like to see my friends is like flowers. We're all different flowers. We're all beautiful flowers, but we all need to water ourselves. It's like, well, if you want to grow, it's the same way with a baby. Like you can't expect the baby to like just grow all by itself. You got to feed the baby, take care of the baby, take care of the flower, water the flower, but give the flower sunlight. It's the same way. And if we don't do that for ourselves, then we don't grow. So I really, really, really love that metaphor. Okay, so what else are you doing? What are you hoping to do with like the dance world or the dance community? Do you feel aligned with what you're doing? Do you feel aligned with your past experiences and where you are now? Do you feel like those have led you to where you are now? Like doing dance and exploring comedy and just helping people out? Like, do you feel aligned?
I feel like, um, I see it as like everything happens for a reason and like
Mm,
everything kind of led me to this point where I'm at because I guess say like I was so against of like doing certain things in my life but then I realized that somehow one way life just led me this direction. It was
mm-hmm,
just always there. Like I could move to a whole different state, which I did, and I still
mm-hmm,
led the same way that somehow that envisioned myself years behind. So it's like as a kid, I was like, I'm gonna be a medical. So like, I've always wanted to be part of medical, and that's what I do in the military. I'm part of the
Mhm.
medical. So it's like, I've always wanted to be part of medical to help people. I want to help my grandma when she gets older and stuff, and then I want to help my parents before they get too old. And
Mhm.
I joked about it, like me being a doctor. I was in high school, senior year now. It's like me being a doctor, man, I don't know if I could do that. And then me graduating in college to become a physical therapist, like, yeah, I think it's a far fetched thing to do now. Well, like me doing anything in the medical, I was like, man, because I failed when I first got to college. I was like, man, medical is hard. I was like, shit.
Mhm.
But somehow, some way along the lines, now I'm in medical. I graduated with associates in kinesiology, and now
Mm.
I'm pursuing my bachelor's, and then in a couple of years, I hope to do my doctorate program in physical therapy. And
Mm.
the craziest thing that inspired me to continue the physical therapy was like a couple of my dance teachers in Fresno, California, but also I met a couple of dancers, themselves breakers,
Mm.
who are physical therapists. It's like, wait, we could do that? And it's like, yeah,
Mhm.
we could do that because we move, we understand our bodies. So when breakers get injured, like who
Mhm.
else are they gonna run into? Because I realized that when breakers get injured, a physical therapist can look at it, she's like, first of all, how did your bone bend exactly like this direction?
Mm.
But if you're a breaker and you understand breaking and understand how the body works, like, well, hear me out, bro, I got you. It's because you did this
Mhm.
move this way. So stop doing it that way. Do it this way. And then he gave guidance, and he's doing workshops and stuff now. It's just like teaching people how that body works and what we could do to condition our body at the highest level. Because I feel like since breaking is so unorthodox with our
Mhm.
movements, we can't follow the same standards. Like, because right now I'm also modifying certain workouts to fit my style. Because I realize that when you b-boy, you gotta like train how you move. So it's like, you want to become a great kickboxer, you gotta train these kicks, right?
Yeah.
When breaking, it's like, you want to learn how to become a great breaker, start running. I mean, running helps,
Yeah.
but then what muscle would it? Like, it helped to an extent. You got to do other things on top of it.
Yes, it's a different type of conditioning. Yeah, I totally get you. This is kind of interesting because I think I don't know, you can tell me what you think, like if there's like a life philosophy, but I think things come back full circle or like there's a cycle and we have to close the cycle or there's some lesson that we need to learn. Actually, I think it's a lot like that. Even in trauma, I was like doing research on why certain people do certain things. And it's usually because they're trying to like understand something so they can close that loop, or they're trying to find some sort of like meaning or that's like a whole different kind of like conversation. But I've gone into coaching. So I actually do a lot of coaching with kids now. And I think it's like sometimes you need to become the person that you needed as a child. And do you think that maybe you are that person now? Like maybe you're like, man, I wanted to be in medical, but I didn't know in what. And like my parents didn't really have that much money for sports. So then I had to go do it as an adult. And like you've gone and you've gotten the tools and now you're helping people and maybe you'll run into that little kid that was that little small version of you, and now you can help them through those things because of like the knowledge and the tools that you have.
So it's crazy because that's been my past life philosophy for the past, as of recently, like 2 years ago. So it's like
Mm,
I call it being the hero you needed growing up, because I didn't have a lot of
mm,
figureheads like growing up. Like, yeah, I liked my grandpa. I liked how he always helped people, but then
mm,
he was also busy, and I didn't really understand his preferences because it's a lot of family drama and stuff. But my point being was like, I feel like me looking back, I was like, maybe I'm being too hard on myself. We're like, man, but I know for sure that my younger self, he'll be super happy. Yo,
mm,
how are you right now? I was like, did you get to meet your inspiration? I was like, I thought about it, like, I used to want this and this. As I got older, it's like, I want
mhm,
this and this and this now. But as a kid, it's like,
mhm,
I just wanted to meet, Dietrich from Quest Crew. Or like, you want to
mhm,
meet this guy, this dancer. It's like, I want to meet this guy. Well, ironically, I did meet them and I want
mm,
more. But as a kid, it's like, I just wanted one simple thing. I just wanted to compete on a Red Bull stage. I wanted to compete for the Olympics. And then ironically, it's like, oh, dang, he actually got a chance to. I want to work with the community. I want to help teach workshops to kids. And I end up doing the things that he always wanted. I was like, oh, that's crazy.
You briefly touched on competing for the Olympics. Did you compete for the Olympics?
So it's one of the qualifications. So it's like
Uh,
they're looking for like U.S. candidates and like a lot of breakers. They were competing in different qualifiers that led to
mhm,
like the Alabama games that was looking for the actual U.S. People. So they're looking for two B boys and I think two B girls to represent the U.S. So
mhm,
everyone's off fighting for like different states. So like people in Philadelphia, people in
mhm.
Arizona, some people were I forgot the other states, but I competed for the Arizona one. I didn't make it. But then they hit me with the, hey, all the people who competed for the Olympics qualifies for the Philadelphia battle. And those who competed then also qualifies down here in the Alabama qualifiers. Like, oh, I ran out of budget. So, but I really
That's
wanted to
okay.
continue that journey.
Yeah, but you still make those connections, so I think that's really cool. So I competed in taekwondo, and some of the people that I was friends with or competed with, like I still talk to them, I still keep up with them. So I mean, it's still connections, and I think sometimes even if you don't reach your goal, like that you still, I guess it's like that karma thing. It's like if you do it because you just want to win, and if you lose, it's like everything's lost. It's like, oh, I lost. But if you're like, I just want to try it, you gain so much more because it's like, well, I didn't win, but I still qualified for this, and I met this person, and I shot this video, and I did this. It's like you win so much more. So no, that's extremely cool. Okay, so I guess what does the future hold for you? Are you kind of just like, we'll see, like, I don't know, I'm just going with like the waves, like I'm just, who knows where I'll be in 2 years? Or do you kind of have a set plan? I know you briefly touched on like you want to get your bachelor's and then you want to get your master's. Is there anything else that you hope to do, or do you ever want to go back and be a monk? Is that something that you plan to do in and out of your life? Because even the way I see it is like I feel like our society is so can be overwhelming that people, even people that don't seek out maybe monkhood, they go on retreats or they do like social media breaks, or they'll just go like on a remote camp and like just turn off all what is it, all technology, and just be technology free for like however long. So like what does the future hold for you?
So I always joke about it myself where like, in case like I become lost in life again somehow, one way or another, then I'll become a monk again at 40 and just spend the rest of my life as a monk. However, I told myself that why would I set myself in that center? I should try to be more optimistic. Cause I remember like the monks always told me like aim high. You know what I mean? Being a monk is great, but at the same time too, being able to I guess give back to community is greater. So it's like I
Mhm.
realized that being a monk you can give back to community, but then you have to realize I guess the quote is more like you gotta find your niche. And
Mm,
I think my niche is to help people genuinely. Like where the future holds me, I feel like I'm helping people because right now we have a lot of projects coming up and a lot of projects are even projected up to next year. And this is to bring the community together as dancers, as
mhm,
breakers, and also networking with other people and hopefully inspiring new generation of community builders. Because
mhm,
right now I'm working with another youth to become learning how to host events and also learning how to communicate with people effectively so he can give back to his community. And I feel like
mm,
as you build that the figurehead mentality, where like be the figurehead that you need growing up, right?
yeah,
They become that figurehead to inspire other people that they look at them as a new figurehead. So it's like I don't care about being left. I used to be the guy who wants to be left in history written, but then I realized
mhm,
that eventually we'll all be forgotten. So the best thing we could do is what could we do to leave a lasting, longing memory of like, I guess you say, watch me your skills carry on. So
mhm,
I want to be able to spread and my knowledge to the next generation so they can continue adding on to that same knowledge and
mhm.
continue growing that knowledge out.
Yeah, random thought, but do you believe in manifestation?
That's crazy because I didn't even think about that.
No. Like, do you think you've manifested all of the things that you wanted? Like, all of the things that I don't know, I think about that. Like, be the adult you wanted. It's like, do you think maybe this is like you and your this has to like go with like parallel, not universes, it's like, do you think maybe your younger self was like, no, this is the version that we need. Like, this is what I want you to be. And then like that was a loop that you like became to close out that loop with your younger self. Does that make sense? It's like, do you think you manifested the version of yourself that you are now?
You know, I didn't really think about it that way because my younger self did wanted me to be a figurehead to a community one way or another. And I guess I didn't realize that that is manifesting as we speak.
It's like it's doing it right now.
Yeah, because I
That's
guess you say
funny.
like when you're so focused on life and you forget
Mhm.
about your actual goals, you just do it naturally now. Because like I just like when it comes to dance, it's like I'm a host a workshop. I'm gonna do this for the community. And I just do it
Mhm.
naturally without like, hey, I have to do this. Now it's just like I want to do it. Let's do it.
Mhm.
Or I'm gonna make this event happen. Let's make it happen. Then just I feel like it just comes naturally now. Besides like yeah, but now that you mentioned, it, I was like, dang, I think my younger self would definitely be like a little proud because he probably did manifest something. Because my
Mhm.
mindset at that time, I don't know. I feel
Mhm.
like when you're a sheltered kid, you have a lot of imagination.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can definitely relate to that. Okay, so in every episode that we have, I try to give some actionable tools. So things people can actually do, things people can actually see and like actually use in their daily life. I don't know if as a monk you guys use grounding techniques. I know this is one that I've talked in the past, but one of my friends, she's a therapist and she uses this one. And it's like whenever you're feeling anxious, what is something that you can hear, something that you can touch, something that you can smell? Like she uses like senses as like a way to kind of like come back to your body. Like instead of being so fixed in your mind, which again, like meditation is so powerful because a lot of you live in your mind a lot of the time. Like you can create fake scenarios and be stressed out about them. And so it's just like you can do the same thing and create fake scenarios that are great for you and be like, oh my gosh, it's gonna feel so great when I do that competition or when I book that event or when I teach that class. So your mind is super powerful, but do you have any actionable tips or tricks that you've learned as a dancer or that you've learned as a community engagement speaker or as a monk? Like, give us some tips that me and the audience can use.
Like the tips I could they could remember and like use continuously.
Just any tip. Just I'm all just give us anything, Angel. Just like give us something that you feel like this one's a good one for confidence or this one's a good one for I don't know, just anything that you can think of. Surprise us.
Hmm. I know that it's crazy to say, but I feel like a bowl of ramen always helps me. It sounds funny, but
Uh-huh.
every time like me and my brother when we go compete after an event, it's like what is our comfort food? Like now that we finished competing, we won this event or maybe we lost. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. We're hungry. So
Mhm.
what do we do when we're hungry? We want to eat something tasty, something different. It could be
Mhm.
sushi or ramen. Sometimes walking and smelling that that ramen is just like, oh dang, this is like one thing that calms us down, but also like makes us like I guess say when they say food brings people together, it's true. Even if you're
Mhm.
by yourself. Like when I was eating ramen by myself the other day, I was like, it came to my senses where like I feel like when we find our comfort zone in food, especially, I
Mhm.
feel like it relaxes our mind, also makes us think better. You hear yourself slurping on the noodles and you smell the food, you taste the food. I feel like it's hitting all those senses that your friend has mentioned. And it kind of
Mm.
like calms you down in a way. And it makes you think more like, now I'm full and I feel satisfied. Now I can
Mm.
continue on with my day. It's crazy to say, but
Mm.
I feel like a bowl of ramen helps me. I feel like I'm pretty sure you could break it down what it really means, but for me, a bowl of ramen does work.
No, that's funny. That's funny. Everybody go get a bowl of ramen after this. No, but the power of smell is really powerful on the mind. So I'll give you guys some psychology background. But for example, if you study for a test and you always chew like this type of gum, like whenever you study, chew that gum, but when you go to the exam, chew that same type of gum and it can help your memory because it's like the last time we did this, we had the same smell and the same taste. You're more likely to remember because it's activating that part of your brain that's also like associated with memory. A lot of people do this, or like even think about when like somebody you love or care about leaves. Like, oh, this sweater smells like, I don't know, my grandma, or this sweater smells like my boyfriend or girlfriend, or like, I don't know, my husband, he travels a lot. And I get really sad whenever he leaves, and then, like, things that smell like him make me feel happier because his smell is, like, associated with happiness. I've also heard about it being used, like, the other way of, like, if you want somebody to miss you, like, always wear, like, the same perfume. It's like it's not a good hack. It's like if you're, like, a toxic ex. You know what I'm talking about? Dude, yes, I'm like, "But we won't go there. Everybody go get ramen." I'm like, "Just remember the ramen." My gosh. Okay, Angel. So we're almost closing. I do have one last question for you, but before we do that, do you have any questions for me?
I guess you said the big question is just like, why do you do what you do? Like with this
That's
podcast.
with this podcast because I really am genuinely interested in people. I genuinely do love psychology. Like I love this so much. I do love it. I love it now. I love learning about it. I love researching it. I love learning why things are the way they are. I feel like all of us are more connected than we realize. Like there's some things in certain cultures that came, for example, like the Buddhist monks, they wear the necklaces. Well, Catholic priests went to like, I don't know where they went. I don't know if it was like India or Thailand or wherever, but they saw the necklaces and they were like, oh, that's cool. So then they're like, we should do something like that. So they came up with a rosary because they were like, we
Mhm,
want beaded necklaces too. Like, we're just so like culture and the world, we're more connected than disconnected. Or like the tomato, like Italy made the tomato famous, and when people think of like Italian food, they think of like tomato sauce or like pasta or whatever. But tomato comes from Mexico, like it's native to Mexico. Or like there's just things like the Silk Route, and I don't know, like we're so connected and we act like we're different. And does that make sense?
mhm,
And so I've always been curious about people, history, psychology. I just didn't want to do it in a practical clinical setting. And so I was like, well, how can I share stories with people? Cuz yeah, sharing stories one-on-one is great and I love this. I would have loved to hang out with you and have a conversation, but I'm like, okay, but how can people also hear this conversation and then talk about it with us or like put it in the comments or like, oh my gosh, I totally relate or oh my gosh, I've also been a monk or like, "Oh my gosh, I went there too." Like, it's like, how can I have a conversation with a lot of people at once? It's I'm like, okay, well, how can I do that? So then it became about problem solving. So I was like, I should create a podcast. And then once I had the answer, I was like, I should do it. So then I was okay, how do I do it? And then it just became about the how. So that's basically why. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know, Angel. You'll just see me you'll just see me doing this for as long as I can. Okay, so my last question to you is would your younger self be proud of you? What would your younger self think of you?
I feel like, my younger self would probably, like, look at me and be like, "Wow, you actually did it." Like, you're actually you're not where you are at for sure, but you're actually where you're going to be. I feel like
Yeah.
he'll be definitely happy because like, because at some point I used to be like, "Imma tell everyone about my sad stories." But at the same time too, if I was to
Uh-huh.
talk to my younger self, I was like, "Do I need to tell him all about the hurdles and the hardship along the way?" Maybe he just wants to hear just the happier moments. Maybe
Mhm.
he just wants to hear the pauses, and he'll probably understand along the way as he gets older to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah,"
Yeah.
because I feel like, my younger self did make a crazy quote. I was, like, only 12 or 11 when I made this. "Every movement begins with a story," and that's what quote followed me as I continue on with life, and then around 13, 15-ish, another quote my friend also told me was, "Never forget where you came from," and
Mhm.
that also stood by me. So it's like, every movement begins with a story, so every time you move, a story begins. But also at the
Mm.
same time too, don't stray too far away from the story. That's why you never forget where you came from.
I love that. I love that. And so the reason why I usually close out with that question is because again, going back to psychology and making sure that we're making our childhood self, our inner child happy. I feel like there's a lot of people that do the thing, the job, the career because it's like, well, I guess I should do it or like I don't know, it's like I needed a job, so I'm just doing it cuz I need to pay the bills. And you meet these people and they hate their jobs or people hate being around them. It's like you're just doing this cuz you need a paycheck, but nobody likes you. You don't even like this. Like, go do something else. And then there's people that love their job. They show up happy. They care about the people, the students, the kids, their coworkers. And you're just like, oh my gosh, that's my favorite person. And so I go back to that story of me getting my master's and I'm like, would your inner child be happy? She'd be like, no. She'd be like, why do you hate life? Go do something else. And so it makes me happy that your inner child would be proud of you because you're making his like dream come true. And because you're doing that, you're making others around you happy. Like everybody's benefiting because you're doing the thing you want to do. So, Angel, I don't have anything else. That's it, team. Angel, how do you feel?
Dang, so this is actually my first podcast, so it feels like I honestly didn't know where to start. So I was like, dang.
Yeah. Yeah. Angel, where can people find you? So I will attach Angel's links. I am gonna promote his stuff and videos. So Angel, get ready because I'm gonna tag you everywhere. But Angel, where can people find you? Whether maybe it's your own YouTube or Instagram or I don't know, LinkedIn. Like, where can people find you?
So as of right now, I use Instagram the most. So I go by "เทวดา." So "เทวดา" is what my grandma told me that my name means. So it generally just means angel. But I just
Oh,
spelled it out because it's easier to find me.
yeah.
So you can also find me on YouTube and TikTok. I don't use YouTube and TikTok as much under "เทวดา." However, you could also find me and my brother's business account that we do videography. It's called Underground Baking TV or
Mm,
UGB TV. You can find us on YouTube mostly and Instagram
mm-hmm.
as well.
Okay. Well, Angel, that is all that we have today. For today, I want to thank everyone. Thank you for coming on here, showing us love and support. And until next time, thank you.
Thank you.